Hi everyone, this is Miss Marks and I will be teaching the introduction on the water cycle to my third graders today. And I'm not able to have an audience with me because I cannot be around other people at the moment because of the COVID pandemic. So I will just be teaching it to a presumed audience. So we will go ahead and get started with that. Let me start my timer. There we go. So yeah, I'll be teaching the water cycle and then I'll just be explaining the 4 stages and I'll have some questions for you at the end. Okay, so the activity model that I have for you guys is I have an entire pitcher of water and that will be the ocean. Then I also have a flashlight on my phone and that is going to be the sun. So I have that ready for you, and I have this little set of cotton balls, and that's going to be my cloud. And then I have this tiny little bowl of water, which is a rain puddle. Okay, so we have this little bowl for my rain puddle, and so we have a little puddle of water on a very sunny day. The sunbeams are shining right on the puddle, and then the water starts to disappear inside. This is called evaporation. Evaporation is when the heat of the sun heats up the water that's either in the puddle, or it could be a river, it could be a lake, it could be an ocean. And so the water rises and it turns into a gas, which is called either water vapor or steam. And so that water vapor leaves the river, leaves the lake, leaves the ocean, leaves this little puddle, and it rises into the air. And so when all that water vapor is rising up and it cools down in the air, it forms these little tiny clouds in the sky, and this is called condensation. So when these clouds are forming, the water vapor is cooling down and it changes back into little water droplets. You can see in the picture up here that it's filled with little water droplets and it's forming the cloud. All of the water droplets gathers together and the cloud is completely full of those little water droplets and it's about to let it all spill out. Depending on the temperature, how warm or cold it is, all of that water can come out of the cloud either in rain, hail, sleet, or snow. It'll fall back down, and that's called precipitation. Precipitation. Those are big words. So the precipitation happens when all of the water can't be held in this cloud anymore. And it can come down as rain, snow, hail, or sleet, just depending on the temperature it is outside. So when the fallen water falls out of the cloud and back to the earth, either it can come into the ocean or into a little puddle or into the ground, a river, a lake, anything that is on the earth. So the water falls from the clouds back onto the ground and it collects into the ocean, rivers, lakes, or puddles. And this is called collection. Collection is when the precipitation is falling back to the earth, which we already talked about, into any kind of body of water or the earth's surface. And this is very beneficial to the plants and animals and even humans. And the cycle will start all over again once the water is on the ground and it starts to evaporate again by the sun heating it. And so it just goes over and over and over again. The cycle repeats itself. And so I have just a fill-in picture for you right now. It has a water cycle on it, and I didn't have any labels to put on it, but you have 4 options: evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and collection. So starting at the sun is our number 1. And this would be your job to fill in the water cycle. Which one do you think goes in where, depending on how I explained it in the presentation. And so I will give my students a couple moments to get that filled in. I of course, would have it printed off for them to have their own individual paper to fill in, and then I will collect those papers and they can ask questions and I can go over the answers together. So this is the ocean and it rises up, and so that's going to be evaporation. And then as it goes to the cloud, that's condensation, where the clouds are forming. And then when the cloud is all the way full, it'll come back down out of the clouds back to the earth, which is precipitation. And then when it's entering the stream, it looks like, or it goes into the lake, that's going to be collection, and then that's where it starts all over again. So to quiz my students, not only from this paper, but I also have an interaction game for them. So I'm going to stop this presentation, and then I have a Kahoot game for them to play. And so I'm going to go ahead and set it up on my phone, just like if I was a student who had a laptop, and I'm going to play as well. So I have it all set up for us. I love the music they play on here. Okay, so I'm typing in my password. Miss Marks. Okay, I'm starting. Okay, the sun warms up the water into a gas called water vapor. Yay! Okay, next question. I'll just do a few for you guys. The process of water changing into water vapor is called changing into water vapor. That is called evaporation. Oh. Yay! When the water vapor cools, when the water vapor cools down, it forms tiny droplets, making yay! Okay, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and I'm really enjoying this lesson plan just activity so that we can learn more about how to teach our students. Thank you again.